The video you guys are about to watch is me reviewing a silver mid laner who has just transitioned from support to mid lane. And so he started off with the basic champion of Annie. And something he gets right is he's got his fundamentals really good. So he knows his basic CSing, he knows his basic spells, and the really next step that he needs to take is once he gets a lead, transitioning that into influencing other lanes. Because as you'll see in the game, his other lanes start losing and he can't really influence it. And it comes mainly through roaming. And so you'll see in this game, I really emphasize how you can extend your lead in mid lane by being more aggressive, by pushing an advantage when you have it, and then influencing and diversifying your lead and helping out your other teammates so that it's not just a 1v9 situation. Because as we know in Season 10 League of Legends, 1v9s do not work anymore. You cannot just carry 4 team members if they are not in the zone, if they're not in the spot to actually help you guys out. It's very hard to actually carry that game. So it's a really good game of a silver mid laner in NA playing Annie, understanding the basics of how to build a lead, how to push that lead in lane, and then how to push that lead out of lane into the rest of his teammates. So really good VOD review, pretty in-depth, and there's a little bit of a nice ending as well where we really go through it. And as you can see here are the main notes that he needs to go through. So cheers guys, and I hope you enjoy the game review. So like, why did you pick this game that you wanted to review? Like, why did you choose this Annie game?
I was between this game and another game because they were both games where I felt like I should have won.
Yep.
Because I didn't F up laning phase, and I to the point where it turned into a 4v5. This game especially, okay, I'm not trying to brag, but I want to say I did okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think I did okay. Okay, and I'm trying to figure out why weren't we winning team fights? Because unfortunately, this is one of the games where team fights would just keep happening. So I felt obligated to join them.
ARAM style. Can't really do much about it. Well, I mean, Annie kind of excels in team fights, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But they've also got a pretty good team fight.
Yeah, to be honest, the Nunu and Lysandra were a pain in the butt the entire game. To be frank.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And so, what do you really want to focus on this game? Is it the team fighting? Is it anything else in particular as well?
Mid game.
Yep.
Closing out from mid game.
Closing out from mid game. Cool. And was there anything like you were happy with this game? So your laning phase, you were pretty happy with your laning phase?
I was, but it didn't matter.
Yeah. But I guess why were you happy with your laning phase? Did you CS well? Did you beat Diana? What made you happy with it?
Okay, so I'm on the impression that Annie loses to Diana mainly because of the fact that if I get hit by getting hit by one like blade can just end her career.
Yeah.
But I managed to not only like dodge a good amount of them because I was trying really hard to dodge them to the point where I would give up CS to not get hit by it.
That's good.
That I was able to even get a solo kill. So it's like
okay, nice.
So that was the idea.
So you feel like you normally struggle a bit with... Have you played this matchup much?
I have.
Okay.
I think it sucks.
Yeah.
So the last game I played against Diana that wasn't this one, Diana hit 6, landed 1 Q and dove me on the tower, and I immediately died. Even with stun.
Yeah.
And any. So I'm like, oh, this is jokes.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. Okay, cool. I'll get into it. I'll just turn my sound down a bit. You can see the screen all okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you talk me through your runes. So you went Electrocute, Cheap Shot, or Taste of Blood? Yep, Cheap Shot. Cool. And then what'd you go secondary? Sorcery?
Sorcery, if I remember correctly, was Mana Flow and Scorch. Because something I noticed with Annie is if you have to trade at all, your mana just depletes really fast if you trade at all before you get items.
Yeah. Here it is. Cool. I mean, just looking at these stats, like, pretty impressive. So it will be a good game to review, I think. Okay, cool. Yep, Sorcery. Nice. Yeah, Mana Flow, Scorch. Nice. Do you like Scorch?
I do.
Okay.
Because I really wanted to take Transcendence, but there were games where I would all in, they would walk away 5 HP, and I'd feel like complete dog shit.
Yep. Okay, fair enough.
That's also why I've been taking Ignite more because I would usually take Teleport and Nanny, but I just got tired of them surviving with 5 HP.
Fair enough.
Although, realistically speaking, Teleport probably is better, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, teleport's a bit more utility, ignite's a bit more aggressive. So I guess it depends on your mood and also the matchup, how confident you are. But I do think overall teleport's generally a safer rune, just because Annie can kill without ignite. But yeah, it does make killing easier. So, and against a Diana who has Conqueror and is going to heal, it kind of works out. Do you like always going Relentless Hunter? Is that because you like to roam, or what's the main reason behind that?
This the out of combat movement speed just makes it pretty easy to get closer enough to like go for a flash W or a flash R.
Okay, cool.
And I was split between that and Ultimate Hunter to have Tibbers more, but I think the movement speed is just really really important on Annie.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, because I would always suggest Ravenous, but I don't play too much Annie, so the Relentless could feel good. But with Ravenous, you're going to be healing like 3, 4k a game, and I think that's pretty broken, especially when you're trying to probably duel someone like a Diana. I think it's really strong. Do you ever go Ravenous Hunter at all?
Not very often. I could try it though.
Yeah, I'd suggest try it. Just see how it feels. I'd suggest try it because I think it's actually super useful. Like, I feel like 3, 4k healing per game is like a pretty valuable rune. I'd also suggest like I don't know what your build is. Do you get to 40% cooldown? Not really. I'd also suggest trying Transcendence as well because Scorch is nice, but Transcendence, that 10% spike at level 10 can be really good for Annie, just with her cooldowns. Getting that stun up quicker, but also getting up Tibbers a little bit quicker as well. But they're like, it's not game breaking or game making, so it's more just play style and feel. But I would encourage you to just try Transcendence and Hunter, see how it feels. Maybe give 1, 2, 3 games. It's not going to make you lose a game. It's probably not going to make you win a game, but you might start feeling better. You might find your mid game feels a little stronger because that level 10 power spike with Transcendence, and you probably get 3 or 4 Ravenous Hunter stacks by then. I think you might actually make like it might feel a bit better and it'll help you scale a bit. Obviously, Annie kind of scales into the mid late, but I think it could be nice if you're willing to try some new runes.
Well, the current runes is losing, so I have nothing to lose.
Yeah,
So,
awesome, good. You got an open mind. I like that. Cool.
yeah, I pretty much waited till 1:30. Nothing impressive.
Yep. Do you ever ward while before minions spawn?
Sometimes, sometimes I do, but
Yep.
this game I was kind of like I don't really know where anyone is, but I think sometimes I'll like maybe like walk around and try to like ward the river or something, but
Yep.
nothing too crazy.
Yeah, because I think
Uh,
the one of the most beautiful things about mid is you can like pretty safely ward this or this, particularly as minions are spawning. Because Lyssandra's going to be walking here, Diana's probably going to be sitting in lane. So I'd highly suggest it, particularly if you're not good at tracking the enemy jungler. So if your enemy jungle tracking's good and you can kind of assume he's at blue, then he'll do wolves, then he'll do raptors, then he'll do red, and you're really good with your timers and keeping 2 things in your head at once, I'd say okay, you probably don't need to do this ward. But if you can ward his raptors, because do you play jungle at all?
no, I hate it.
Okay,
To
so
be
quick,
honest.
yeah, so quick breakdown. Any jungler who goes a Hunter's Talisman is pretty much going to go either buff. So let's say for Nunu, this example, he's going to go blue buff, wolves, raptors, red, because that's the only way he can hit level 3 in the most efficient way. Obviously, he could do a full clear, and he'll get level 3 off either quadrant. So if he does blue, gromp, wolves, he will get level 3, but generally Hunter's Talisman, junglers go blue, wolves, raptors, red, and that's how they get their level 3 power spike. And then they're looking to gank top or mid between 2 minutes 45 and about 3:15. For Nunu, it's probably 2:30 to 3. You can still hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you
Okay,
fine.
cool. The stream just disconnected, didn't know what happened. Whereas, let's say a Jarvan, for example, he's going to go red buff, blue buff, Gromp, because that's the easiest way for him to get level 3. And Hunter's Machete is really strong against single target. Hunter's Talisman's really good AoE damage spells. So that's just a quick recap of if you see an enemy jungler with a Hunter's Talisman, so like anyone with AoE spells goes Hunter's Talisman, it means they're going to do those 4 camps, and anyone with a machete is going to do those 3 camps, basically, to get level 3 in the quickest way. So that's why I'd suggest if you can ward here or here, it means you not only get vision for yourself, but you get vision for Shen as well. And then Nunu, you could even waste his time by baiting out a gank that you know is coming, or you just get vision that can confirm for your jungler to do a gank, to counter gank, or just to, for your whole team to know where the enemy jungler is. So I'd suggest doing that in your games. So what I'd suggest is you sit here till about 1 minute, and then you can either walk into this bush or go super safe, walk into here, hover, and then either come in here, check, and or ward just there or there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And it just gives you a really good vision of where the jungle is going to be.
Okay.
It's something a lot of mid laners don't do, but you'll notice if you ever watch Diamond, they do it a bit, but if you ever watch good mid laners in solo queue, they're pretty much always doing that ward now.
Okay. Makes sense.
So this is fine landing phase, pretty standard. Do you know Jarvan's coming?
I'm pretty sure I did, but I wasn't. But actually, no, I probably didn't. No, I didn't.
I mean, it wasn't really
Yeah,
it was a good idea, but you didn't even have stun, so it was never really on. He came a bit too early. He probably should have waited, but that's okay.
I also said that's my fault. I probably could have just not backed away, actually.
Yeah. I also think, though, you might not have got your stun up in time, really. Yeah, so again, like this ward, compared to like a ward here or here, obviously it wouldn't have been effective yet, but you're going to see in about 5 seconds, you would see Nunu here. Because as we know, like Nunu with a snowball, he's going to charge it here, he's going to come here, so he's already at like 400, 500 movement speed by the time this ward is going to help you at all. So just a really good one.
Fat Ramus.
Yeah, exactly. So like here, your whole team would now see that at 223, Nunu's doing Raptors. And it just makes everyone a little bit safer. That's fine. I mean, good CS difference here.
Oh, I missed that one too.
That's okay. Do you have like plans with your minion waves? Do you ever think like, I want this pushed against a Diana, I want this in the middle against a Diana?
Against assassins, if I'm able to hard shove, I'll hard shove because they're gonna roam no matter what.
Yeah.
In my elo, so granted, it sucks because I'm just making myself an easy gank for Nunu, which will beat me in the butt a bit later. But I don't know. I just got tired of keeping the lane in the middle. They AFK roam. I spam ping Mia, and then bot lane dies anyway. So I'm like, okay, cool. I have to fight a 2-0 mid laner now.
Yeah, that's exactly the answer I was expecting. Because this, at between 2 minutes 30 and 3, it just means Nunu's going to have a really easy gank on you if he decides to. And like, so it's kind of like, just because you can push doesn't mean you should push. You should always have like an intention with your wave, but it's not just about you and Diana. It's also about you and the enemy jungler and you and your ally jungler. And I think having a little bit of understanding of jungle pathing and tracking is going to be really useful for you. But obviously you kind of know as well that Nunu's probably going to gank you or top lane in the first 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
I like the respect here, kind of always staying back and just going in for like quick trades or, to kill CS, which is really good. So you're using your range to a really good advantage over Diana. And again, I'd suggest like if you had the ward here or there, you'd be able to play this much more aggressively because we know Diana's on 460 health, you're, got a 200 health advantage plus a stunner. You could actually be sitting here and making her, like, get punished. For every CS she goes, she gets punished. Whereas back here, you're playing very safe, but it's kind of because you have to, just because you don't have knowledge of the jungler, and you're probably over-respecting Diana a little bit.
Okay.
But in this situation, because your ward's here in this actual game, like, where you're sitting now is fine. But if you do have the more aggressive or deeper ward, it allows you to sit up more and punish the melee ranged matchup. Nice. Good trade. She should back. She's probably not. And cool, you got a nice CS lead here. It's alright. Those would have been hard to get. Again, we see Nunu. I know you're just trying to CS at this point, but you could probably be a little bit more aggressive and make her like fight for these minions.
Mm-hmm.
Because if
Yeah.
you're here instead of here, it just means she has to decide between like attacking you. Obviously, she's got a Q that kind of arcs, but like the more you can make your enemy laner have to choose about losing health, going for a minion, or attacking you, like having to give them multiple options instead of like all she has to do here is CS. Giving them more options makes them kind of a bit more confused and also allows you to be a bit more aggressive because they like now have to make a decision between do I go for the CS, do I go for the trade, or do I leave the CS and, you know, lose out, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Whereas back here, you're both, so it's good for you as well, right? Because she can't reach you, but it's also really good for her because she's a melee. She's wanting to get to her power spike level 6, which is fine. Her pre-6 laning phase is arguably her weakest, whereas yours is quite oppressive in melee matchups. So particularly whenever you see the jungler, I'd suggest like try and become more aggressive. Even if becoming more aggressive is literally just moving from here to here, even that is like more than enough aggression just to start out with, but like build up your risk and aggression appetite slowly so then you can really start punishing her, managing this wave so that she starts missing out on XP and gold and just really taking advantage of the melee range matchup. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. It's not like it's not a big thing, but it like when you start doing it, you feel more comfortable. It makes your lane you feel more confident, and you just start opening up for more plays rather than this very one-dimensional play style here.
Okay. So.
That's okay. That's fine. That's all good.
Yeah, that was he went in really early.
Yeah, I mean you might have died there if he waited one more second, or if he like charged it here. Again, we see Nunu, so this should be aggressive.
Okay.
Nice, the auto attacks are good, perfect.
Hey,
Is this a solo kill?
Surprisingly.
Oh no. Wow, why is she trading? Nice. Good job. And so that play probably could have happened maybe a minute earlier with the aggression. Obviously, she fucked up there, but you playing more aggressive, I think, could have optimized that a little bit quicker. But good kill.
And by the way, I ignored the circus by Dragon Knight messing with that. I ignored that.
Oh, no. Yeah. No, of course. You've got no mana as well anyway. Yep, so I just, yeah, hard push this. Good. And then reset. Nice. You can just back there if you want. But yeah,
okay.
it's fine. It's fine. It's only like 1 or 2 seconds. Good. So now you've got a really nice CS lead, 12 CS. The wave's in a bit of a shitty position. It's going to slow push because we didn't get the push off quick enough, but you didn't have enough mana. So it's fine. And like you'll notice this Diana's not going to freeze this. I doubt it. She's just going to hard push. Yeah. Awesome. Finish code. Sorry, Lock's chapter. Cool. So you're going Ludens first, or do you just buy that for the mana?
This match I thought Ludens first because more wave clear into the melee matchup.
Yep.
Because this is one of the rare cases where she didn't roam 5 million times by now, so that was nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess a pre-6 Diana roam is a bit ordinary. Good. Good stuff. Again, you've got the power spike here. Like, you hit 6 first, and like she is pretty close to 6, but I'd suggest a little bit more aggression here, but it's okay. Yeah, this is good. See, this positioning is really good. See, she can't get either of those CS. Or she might get that one. No, she doesn't get that one. So it's good posturing. Is this the game you were asking me about? What do you do when you're...
No, I could show you the other game if you have time. No, not this one. No.
Okay, yeah, your team... Okay, cool.
I don't actually. No, I don't want to look at that game because that same game not only did the Yone roam 5 million times, the top lane AFK'd after feeding. So I'm like, okay, actually, no, that's not worth looking at actually.
Yeah, fair enough. Good. I really like the missed calls. And again, it's like if you ping 3 times, I mean, you could type it as well, like mid-miss if you want to. But it's like if you ping 3 times and a lane doesn't respond, it's on them. And like the only things you can do is either try roam, which you couldn't really do in that situation, or just try push the wave back.
Are you
So
sure? Every bot laner insists it's my fault that
yeah,
I only
well,
mute things.
I think yeah, I mean, if you give them the warning, it's on them. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's super frustrating, and it happens at all elos, so it's not really gonna disappear. I swear, it's just like a league thing where players just do not respond sometimes, where they've got pings muted or they're just like tunneled or who knows. Good. I'd suggest going like, yeah, I guess Diana is a bit strong, but you do have a level advantage, so you could go for some auto attacks there. Try and get that plating a bit closer. But you do have a 10 CS lead and a kill lead, so it's pretty good. But you also don't know where Nunu is. This is fine. I suggest when your Ignite's almost back up, you could probably play aggressive again. Good. I want more of that. That's good, though. But that's kind of that playstyle that I'm talking about. Like, get up, get in her face. Your auto attack's like one of the longest in game, particularly early game, until like everyone gets rapid fire cannons on 80 carries.
Or a lock-in Senna.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Cool. I like you sitting in your vision as well. As soon as we see Nunu, should be aggressive. Yeah. So now, yep, you should be up here again. Because there's no threat. We know where Lysandra is. We know where they're all. So the only threat is Diana, who's on 9... Or I guess she's almost on the same health as you. She is, actually. Because this like posture gives her the opportunity now to roam, even though she's really only going to have like a 10-second window to roam before losing anything. It just gives her this opportunity, whereas this could be you if you were playing the more aggressive. Because I think Annie roams arguably one of the strongest mid lane roams as well, particularly post 6.
Post 6 I think is pretty good.
Yeah. Nice, you don't have to worry about this too much. Nice, yeah. See, look how much damage you do. You just like literally 100 to 0 to Nunu. So if you you could do the exact same thing to Diana. I guess she has 100 more health than him. 150.
I think I died here though because Diana damage.
Yeah.
Although MVP Tiburus actually.
Yeah.
Tiburus carries more than my teammates in some games.
Oh, sure. Nice. Yeah. The enraged Tibbers afterwards. So that's perfect. That works out fine. So you're 3-1 now with the, what is it? 14 CS lead. Cool. Go Blasting Wand. Your CS is pretty decent. I mean, you look at the rest of the game, you've got the highest CS by far. So, like, of course, you're missing some silly CS, but don't get, like, tilted at it. Just, like,
Oh, no, I definitely get tilted by missing CS, because Annie, you should be getting most of them.
Yeah. I mean, what CS did you average? So 5.1. Okay, yeah, that is a little bit low, but I mean, in your first 15 minutes, it's probably not too bad. Like you're at about a 6.3 at the moment, which is pretty good. And obviously, as you said, the game kind of turned into an ARAM, so you can't really do too much about that in terms of CSing or CSing effectively. Yeah, I'd also suggest with your warding, just always deeper is better, particularly against Nunu. Like here is really good because you can see this path, but you can also see this path and this path. So like this ward can catch the Nunu if he's like here, but if he goes this way, you're never going to catch him. So I suggest here because you can see his snowball coming from all 3 directions. And unless he, like, let's say comes from here or jumps over here and then runs here and starts his snowball, it's just a much better vision. Like, you get a lot more bang for your buck with the ward.
Okay, that makes sense.
This is good roam. Oh, wow. What's this Nunu doing? Nice. Nice.
Unfortunately, the Jevons wall actually made it harder to get that, but it
Yeah.
works out kind of ironically. I know you didn't do it on purpose. It just shit happens. It's kind of bad.
Yeah, I'd suggest just get out of there as quick as possible.
I did. I flashed
That's
at
good.
Mashed, and I'm like, "Have a nice day. Good luck, Shen."
Yeah, yeah, no, that's good. Oh, does he get out? No. That's alright, you couldn't do much about that.
Well, at least I got red buff.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, right now we're doing a Pokemon battle between Red versus Blue, buff in the mid lane.
Good, that's
Now,
pretty good respect.
now, I actually fucked up there because I could have probably just gotten an auto because she would have eaten a bunch of creep damage. I think.
I'd suggest the roam here as well could be on. Yeah, there is a ward, but it could have this is like what I call dead time. So it's like basically, let's see when it starts. So from here, like if you don't go for this CS, you now have about 10 seconds to do whatever you want. So in this case, you kind of just hover. But in another case, you could have, with that 10 seconds, you could have gone down here. And sure, this ward spots you, but maybe you could have cleared it. Maybe you could have gone through and they might not notice. And maybe, you know, your bot lane engages perfectly as you come. And you could have set something up. But instead, you kind of just wander around here and just waste the time. So nothing's really ever going to happen in this 10 seconds just doing this. But if you do just walk down here, something could happen. You don't know if it will. But I would suggest this is just a more impactful use of dead time as compared to like just wandering around here and resetting your lane. Because Diana's kind of done 2 dead time roams where she's pushed you in, and even though she hasn't actually ganked bot, she's walked all the way down the river and just looked for the gank and been, you know, almost halfway there to the gank, whereas you're yet to do that in kind of 11 minutes. And this is kind of your first opportunity to do it, but I just suggest doing it more because it puts you in a mindset of, can I gank, can I roam? And it just also gives the enemy team a bit more fear because you're always missing. You're never in lane until you have to be. And you become a bit more like let's say you roamed in this instance, you might have been able to help out here. You might have been able to kill the Jinx, or you might have actually stopped the Nunu from ever ganking them. As an example. Do you kind of see that's like a cool gank opportunity?
A little bit.
Yeah, like it might not have been on, but at least you just walking here would have opened it up to a possibility of it working. Like this roam, I would argue, is less impactful than the roam you could have done, but it's okay. It's also a cool way to reset as well. If you do have a bit of time, you can just walk, look for a gank, and then reset in the ward if nothing's on. Yeah. Yeah, if you're waiting for a gank, just keep recalling and keep cancelling.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got drag. It's fine. Yeah, because I think if this gank was actually... If something happened here and you did come down, you guys might have been able to get a kill here. You would have prevented Dragon as well. So it's kind of like 2 outcomes that could have happened if the roam went bot lane 20 seconds earlier than the roam that went top lane. And Shen could have ultied in, so you would have been super safe. And it could have been like potentially a 4v2. And then you guys get drag as well. Good, I'd kind of hard push this because you know Diana's here.
Crazy, Diana got more scuttles than our jungler. Oh, shit happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Shen had to have seen her. That's I figured.
Yeah.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh, Jarvan trapped. Shit.
Damn, is Jarvan secretly sabotaging us?
Yeah. Undercover.
Undercover spy.
And this is probably the first time where you actually need to be a bit scared of Diana because she's now got a Rod of Aegis, so she's actually got a lot of HP. And
Yeah,
she's a lot stronger. Like her level 9 power spike compared to her like level 6.
that's
Like I
pretty.
think
Yeah,
you beat Annie. I think you beat Diana up until like level 9 clean, and then it's a bit more closer. Kind of who
yeah,
gets
yeah.
the CC off.
I can't get hit by Q. That's why I was like just chilling until
Yeah,
she threw it.
yeah.
Even now, I got hit by. I walked away. It's like it's fine. Now that it's on cooldown, I just got a quick trade off. Although, unfortunately, I picked a bad time to trade, so
Yeah.
I die here. So, Shen, I feel bad. Shen actually tried. Shen
Yeah.
did try. This wasn't enough.
It was a little late. Like maybe if he did that 3 seconds earlier, the Diana kill could have been on. Just because his ult would have got off before you died, but yeah, he did try at least.
It just felt really bad. So.
Yeah, I mean, it was like almost your third aggressive trade of the game, and Nunu's there just waiting for you. Just kind of shitty. Like, just at this point in the game, like, if you can somehow get this, like, MF ahead more, I know you're 4-2, but it looks like you and MF are kind of the carries in this game. So it's like, if you can prioritize, if you ever roam again in this game, like, if you can try and prioritize the bot roam, it's going to be much more impactful than the 0-3 Shen who's versing a 3-0 Lysandra.
Yeah. Also, I'm very concerned he doesn't have any MR yet. That was kind of concerning.
That is a little bit concerning. We just went for the Tiamat. Not the smartest build path. But again, it's like you can't really control what that person's going to build. He's also got 44 CS. That really shouldn't happen.
And then the Rift Herald, so Rip.
Yeah. At least platings are down, but yeah, you just got to kind of eat shit here.
I mean, I tried like killing Rift.
Yeah. That's fine. Now Lysandra's roaming. Again, you couldn't do much here. You are coming in, but Shen's pretty much dead here. Nice.
But she flashes in, then I get hooked by Lysandra and die. Yeah. So I don't know. It wasn't worth.
It definitely, yeah. The fight probably wasn't on. That's probably the first mistake you've done this game, though. In 15 minutes.
But it's going to cost us a tower.
Yeah,
that's kind of a problem.
Yeah. Well, the Nunu just prioritized your lane a lot more than the Jarvan did. Like, Jarvan was kind of permaganking bot and it worked a bit, but Pyke still ends up on 7 kills at 16 minutes, so it's a bit unlucky in that aspect as well.
200 years.
And now, yeah, and now Diana's 5-2, even though you were playing so well in laning phase. And you're 4-3. Yep. I mean, she's only got a 500 gold lead, but it's still kind of shitty because, like, you couldn't do much about that in this game scenario anyway. This is a good roam. Probably nothing's going to be on because that Lysandra's so far ahead, but you never know.
Well, she face checks Annie, so anything's possible.
That's true. Nice, okay. Good combo.
And then I hit the clone because I didn't want her to use it, so she had to use Ice Claw. So that's
nice. Cool. I think she could have actually jumped both walls there.
Yeah.
Nice, good.
I didn't want to have to flash.
Oh my god, that Lysandra damage. Nice.
Yeah, I really didn't want to have to flash, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I hope Jarvan does Dragon here.
I don't think he does. That's the sad part.
That's big rip. Oh, what's happening? Oh no! Oh no!
Okay, so my former support main can't help but to shit on AD carry players. AD carry players are the masters of throwing leads, quarterbacks. I know I'm being really toxic right now, but yeah, like AD carry straight up was why I don't even play support anymore, dude.
Yeah.
Hence the gamer tag.
Yeah, and you have a lot more impact in the mid lane. And your mid lane's solid, like you're doing all the right things, just a little bit more aggression, which probably comes from you playing support maybe. But you'll eventually be able to get out of that. Just like whenever you see the jungler, use that as a cue to be more aggressive, particularly if you win the matchup. And like Annie pretty much wins most matchups. Pre-6 and then even level 6, your power spike in the mid lane's kind of arguably one of the
Not
best.
Azir, but you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
That's a dodge.
Yeah, yeah. He did get nerfed, but I still think he's pretty busted.
Okay, unless he gets like season 3 Olaf, he'll always beat Annie outside of jungler help.
Yeah.
Jungler help definitely can sway it, but otherwise, yeah. In a pure 1v1, it's because when does she ever get in auto attack range without eating a soldier?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sitting bot, I think, because I was thinking
this
there
is
was
smart.
gonna happen.
And this is your first roam bot at 18 minutes.
Yeah. So
Yeah, nothing
forward.
really.
Woo!
But it's a good situation. Like, it's a good spot for you to be in. Something could have happened. It's like good. It's good good principle is probably the best way to put it. Is like, this is really good. It's a shame like there was nothing on, but sometimes you're just gonna go for ganks and nothing's on. And at least now you're in a position here to maybe help this out. This looks like it could go your way. Nice, nice. That's really good. Cool.
And we should get this tower.
I'd suggest you just go mid or top here, because 4 of you or 5 of you now bot lane is just a waste of kind of resources. Because like a tier 1 at 19 minutes isn't really that useful. They're trading for a tier 2, and also you're not really getting any of this CS. So it's like fine, like it's good that you're all grouping and you're all team working, but in this case, it's actually better if just one of you recalls, I guess. Leona recalls, but that's kind of pointless. Yeah. It's like either you or Shen, I think, should have recalled there straight away. But cool, you got... Nice, you got a little gold lead there, because you got, I think, double there. 2 kills? Maybe just 1. But you're in a nice gold spot now. So you're going Morello's next. Is there a reason why you go Morello's? You just like it? The Diana healing, is that kind of what you're thinking?
It's Diana, Pike, and for some odd reason, I was having a hard time killing with Lissandra.
Yeah.
But that...
Because Morello's isn't really going to do much against Alyss.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
But it's okay. The Oblivion Orb is kind of a nice-ish power spike.
Because of the magic thing,
yeah.
Oh, I missed the R, though. It kind of sucks.
It's okay. It's kind of good grouping for your team, but nothing's really on here. And they're arguably stronger than you. I mean, they've got a 5k gold lead here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the only one with gold is me and MF to extent.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't even want to be here because
yeah.
I don't have R. Yeah, I have no R or flash. So it's like, what threat do I have? That's why I don't really want Bugsy. And Shen caught on, so he just went back to farm, which I respect.
Yeah.
And I think I just go back bot lane.
Yeah, and it all gets broken up. And again, Lissandra gets this split push off kind of for free. Shen
TPs.
never mind,
Shen teleport.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said never mind. Okay, so it's done. Nunu. I don't have R though, so I'm just like chilling with MF.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, he should clean this up, right?
Nice.
Oh, okay, that kills the game.
Good, and then you two should just group mid, try and get this midi turret. Shen's build just aggravates me, but that's fine.
I'm more aggravated that he keeps trying to fight her. It's like,
yeah.
Imagine getting solo killed 3 times and you try to fight them the 4th time. It's like, okay.
Nice, you might have been able to kill that Jinx if you stayed, but I can also kind of understand why you left.
So I just claimed blue buff because I figured before they take it.
Yeah, push. You kind of want to back ASAP though, because this next drag's up, so you really just want to push this. Hopefully you'll recall after this. You've probably got a bit of gold. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, I think I just pushed and back.
Perfect. Something you could go in this matchup as well if you're feeling like a bit less tanky. You could go Aroa, but I think this build
It's
path's
too late.
fine. Yeah,
You should have gotten it earlier if I
yeah,
wanted to row.
yeah. I think that's what. Yeah, sorry, that's what I mean. Like, if you feel like you need to be a bit tankier, like if you can understand their team comp is really tanky, like at level 1, you can go, okay, maybe I go for Aroa here. But this
And this,
this build you've
and
gone
th-
is really good for team fighting, and that's kind of the situation or state of the game that it's in.
uh, and this play, it was like I was happy for about 2 seconds until I realized, oh, we're still losing the game. But
Yeah,
I won't spoil it.
yeah.
So they're fighting for drag
So in my opinion,
now.
this dragon isn't on. Like, I think Jarvan can like suicide for it if he wants, but no one else should really be going in here. I mean, I guess Shen
Now
does have TP,
Shen
but
now Shen ults me, and that gives me the idea that, oh wait, I could flash in and R everybody.
and you
And
get the
I got
drag.
dragon. Yeah, because the shield from Shen.
Yeah,
The problem is stuff's on cooldown. I think.
yeah,
I Q list. I don't know if I should have queued Diane instead of list. That was the only thing I was unsure about. Maybe I should
yeah.
have queued.
I mean, what Shen should have done is TP'd on the Jarvan, but because he TP'd on you, it made you
I,
flash in. And you guys did get the drag, but I assume, yeah, you guys are just gonna lose this. That's a good stopwatch. You should just run here. It's alright.
I didn't think
don't,
I'd
I
get
don't think
away.
you would
To
have
be
got
honest.
away. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was gonna get away. So, well, we got drag, but we gave up like what 3K gold, so not really.
Yeah,
Worth.
two for 5 plus drag. It's 4th drag. Yeah, not the most important, but I think
And
what should have happened is Shen should have ulted Jarvan, and Jarvan should have jumped in, and those two go in. And then, you know, if it felt on, you could have come around here, wrapped around, and maybe attacked their carries.
Yeah, but I can't really force Shen to ult.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, of course. So I'm just, yeah. Yeah.
18 stacks must be a nice list.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Jesus.
And that's kind of my problem. Like what's the win con? I don't know. I know
Yeah.
I'm not even. I generally don't know. I don't know what the win con is.
I mean, Wincon here is probably play for the 4th drag, but because it's against a Nunu, it's very hard to get. I mean, really, you guys just got to level up a bit, and ideally Shen should start split pushing and force fights. So, like, Shen split pushes, and you guys are grouped either as, like, a 4-man, or you could do, like, a 1-3-1, but I think Diana starts beating you, like, pretty much now, so you can't really do that. So ideally, Shen should just be perma-split pushing at this point. Because one, he's 1 and 7. So what he needs to do is actually get Lysandra away from you guys as a team. Because Lysandra's 8-2 with 18 stacks. So your win con is basically get Shen split pushing. But League's a team game. And so it's like kind of like hard to get towards a win con if your team isn't playing correctly. So at this point, I just suggest like...
anyways.
At this point, I just suggest, like, sandbagging. Like, just try and delay the game. Because there isn't really a win con yet until Shen catches up and starts split pushing. And then he forces, like, 4v5 team fights. Because this isn't what you guys want. They've got a 8k gold lead. They want to fight. They've got really strong team. And, like, Jarvan's not here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fight, like, again, like, fight's probably not on. These last 2 fights haven't really been on for you. But it's like your team's going in, so what else can you do? There's not much. The Tibbers there was arguably a little bit shit, but maybe if you had your stun, you could have probably cancelled the Nunu ult and then actually gone in with the Tibbers, maybe on a couple more members.
Yeah.
But again, like, Jarvan's not here. This fight just shouldn't be on. So, like, in this case, like, it's not really a win con, but it's like delaying the game when you're behind is the best thing you can do. Because right now, their team is way more ahead than you are. And you guys are probably feeling pretty shitty. You're probably feeling a bit angry that you've got a 1-7 Shen, a 1-7 Jarvan. So if you can make this game go longer, it's going to give you more opportunities to win. Because when a team's ahead, it's really up to them to make a mistake. because otherwise they're just going to keep going ahead because they're team fighting. They've got a really good team fight with Lysandra. Jinx can stay right at the back and they can play front to back and just demolish you guys. But also they're forcing fights where they're all grouped or look how close all of them are in this fight compared to you with Shen here. Jarvan's not even close here, so you shouldn't even be here. Like, a 5'11 Leona going in, like, she's not worth anything. She's worth maybe like 200 gold, 300 gold at this point. And at 24 minutes, 300 gold is not worth you dying over.
Yeah, and I was even hesitating on it too. Probably should have just kept walking. Yeah. Oh yeah, I was really hesitating on it. I should have just walked away.
Yeah. I think walking away here would have been the best, or at least saving your Tibbers for that Lysandra coming in. Do you play a lot of Annie?
She's like the only mid laner I play. Her and Lysandra and then Nico. That's pretty much it for mid lane. But I've been just playing Annie more because that's the beginner's champion. That's not been but it has not been working out at all.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, this game you're getting sucked into team fights, but again, it's like a 1-8 Shen, a 1-8 Jarvan, and you couldn't have... There weren't really that many examples or times in this game where you could have helped them out. There was like one chance where you could have roamed bot that all that would have done was help your MF Leona. So it's like also like it's a bit of just a hard game for you to carry when you've got two kind of weights on your legs who are just dragging you down and not playing towards how they should be playing. Like, this Jarvan's got a Sandwine Blade when he's 1-8. It's just like, what the fuck?
Again, people that queue for ranked, not all of them actually want to win.
Yeah, it's insane.
Because a basic Google search will tell you that you don't get Sanguine Blade on Jarvan.
A basic, like, a mental check. Like, in no situation. Yeah.
Because even the cases where you're fed, you just get Triforce or something.
Yeah.
Not that.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. Again, like, all this time, you just want to be slowing the pace of the game down, and just playing objectives. Like, only try and fight for Barons now, and only try and fight for Drags. You don't want fights here like that last fight. You only want to be fighting over something that can get you back into the game. Because right now, you guys straight don't win a 5v5, but you might have a chance, or you might be forced to have to try and win a 5v5 in Dragon and Baron. And kind of the only reason why you should try and do 5v5s Dragon and Baron is teams, like, it's not a traditional team fight, so it means that a traditional matchup in 5v5 where it's like their team is clearly stronger, they've got, 12k lead at this point, but Nunu might just be hyper-focused on Dragon, or they might all forget Dragon. Like, it adds like an extra element that complicates the team fight and gives you less chance, but also like theoretically more chance and less chance at the same time. But it's like your best opportunity to go for something, because you could win the team fight and you could get the objective. Whereas here, when you guys are outnumbered, this team fight just doesn't get you guys anything. It only further extends their lead.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But again, they've just got Nunu's just a king objective taker, so your win con is the split push Shen that he's just not doing, and the idea is the rest of you kind of just slow it down again, like that TP is something else, but you guys will make something of it, which is good. I'd suggest tunneling on this TP. Good. Again, like, your team's kind of never grouped at the right time. I'd just get out,
And that's how I think Nuna kills me.
Yeah. Close. But again, you guys are outnumbered in the team fight, and it's a team fight kind of over nothing. If you're down this much, I mean, you're probably in a mental state of like, fuck it, let's just fight and see what happens. But really, you should just be trying to delay the game in any way you can. And I think at this point, like, leaving your team to die here is worth it, because as we can kind of see in hindsight, the outcome is the same. Except if you left them, you probably wouldn't have died. Obviously, that's hard to see, but we can obviously tell when we're watching a game replay. But if you get in another game scenario like this where you're 20 kills down, 5 turrets down, it's like, okay, we don't really actually want to be fighting at 26 minutes if we're outnumbered. We only want to be fighting if we get the pick and if we've got the numbers. But again, like, your Jarvan's a bit lost here. Like, Diana's just free split pushing and he's going into his jungle. So it's like, again, you've just got people, like, not wanting to win the game, which makes it super hard as well.
But people say you should carry anyways, though.
Yeah. But, I mean, you look at a challenger account, they generally, if it's a main challenger account, they have about a 60% win rate. 55 to 60%, so they're still losing 40% of their games. So, I don't know. I disagree with every game's winnable. I think you should still play like every game's winnable, but you also got to understand that if you lose a game like this where you're 10 and 6 and you've got 2 1 and 9s, it's like you can only do so much to win this game. At a point, it kind of comes out of your hands. That's my opinion anyway.
Although I will say to this though, the only thing that sucks about not playing sport anymore is Baron's never warded.
Yeah. I've noticed that when I don't play support. It does set you up with good vision fundamentals though, usually, which is kind of nice as well. Jesus Christ. Good flash. Again, like, fighting outnumbered. Shen wasn't really there. Neither was MF.
Yeah, but I was desperate for the dragon, but
Yeah.
it wasn't worth it in the long run.
Yeah, at this point, like, this far behind, Jarvan's probably levels behind this Nunu as well. Like, just let Jarvan go for the suicide, but no one else should be there. I mean, you get out at least, but Leona dies. Particularly because they got Baron as well. Basically, when an enemy team gets Baron and they're this far ahead, you don't really want to be contesting anything. The only things you want to be trying to defend are your inhibs. Dragons usually aren't on, particularly when they're this far ahead with Baron. I would suggest just, like, not being here even in the first place. Particularly if MF, your only other carry in the game, isn't there. It means you literally have, what, is it like 6k? Like, you have, like, less than half of your team's gold in the fight. And I'll probably notice here, see, this is like, defending these turrets are your best chance against dealing with Baron. Like, these two literally have just thrown. Like, all they had to do was split push, but now Diana literally just got killed for free. And now their whole Baron is wasted. So that's why it's so important to understand that if they've got Baron and they're this far ahead, just play the turret. Don't play an objective that isn't even an Infernal Soul, I'd suggest. If that makes sense.
Okay.
But again, like, your team went, so it's hard. Unless you're really strict with yourself, it's hard not to try and help your team. And I think you were in an okay position to at least try and help them out if it was successful. But yeah. This is a good pick. Nice. And like, this is their mistake. This isn't you guys playing well, and that's kind of the problem when it comes to like a 14, 15, 16k deficit. It's like they threw here when Diana jumped in on the MF, then they threw with Nunu, and then they threw down here. So it was kind of all they're doing, but you guys capitalized on it, which is important. But at a certain point, games just become in the enemy's hands if they're ahead to whether it's won or lost, rather than the losing team. You can only do so much from behind. And like, capitalizing on mistakes like that one is really one of your only ways back into the game when the deficit's this big. So good job, you guys do get a little bit of gold back there. It's still a pretty big deficit. But at least you've wasted Baron, and they've got no inhibs.
Is that word okay, or should I put it somewhere else?
Here? This ward?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, at 30 minutes, wards kind of don't matter too much. You probably wouldn't even need to put it there, but it gives you just a safe warding space here. I'd suggest going blue trinket at this point as well, because look how far your vision is behind. Yeah, you can't really push, and at least you could get like objective vision. And also, if you place your blue trinkets right, you can actually start building up some really good vision. So like, as you know, blue trinkets last forever. So if you get one here, if you get one here, if you get one here, like sometimes the enemy just might not see this one or this one or this one. And you can start building up some really good vision, as well as like when an objective's up, you can ward it to see if they're doing it or if they're baiting you, etc, etc. So like if you're ahead and you're like roaming and ganking a lot, I'd suggest going sweepers as mid lane, so you can kind of walk through wards and help gank a lane. I'd even suggest doing that if you want to roam more as Annie mid, like I was trying to get you to do, where you go more aggressive, you push the wave in, and then you walk when the waves are resetting. I'd suggest you could try going sweepers if you are wanting to roam a lot that game. Go sweepers, and you can pretty much clear this whole river without actually being seen if you activate your sweepers correctly.
Okay.
So I don't know if you know how sweepers work, but if you walk over a ward while your sweeper is active, it won't actually, it'll see you for like a split second on the minimap, because its range is slightly longer than a sweeper. But as soon as your sweeper goes over the ward, it means they cannot tell at all that you're there, unless they see that their ward is disabled on the minimap. If that makes sense?
Yeah.
So they won't see your champion icon. All they will see is that their ward has got reduced vision, but it's not that obvious on a minimap. So it's something that like I'd suggest if you're wanting to roam more as a mid laner, try going sweepers. And use the sweepers to not kill wards if you're looking for the gank. Use it to actually like put yourself under cover for the gank opportunity. But I think because you're still learning mid lane, I think the aggression thing is probably one of the first key steps. And just generally volume of games, getting to know each matchup and feeling confident. Because watching this replay back, it felt like you were the stronger person against that Diana. Yet at the start of this game review, you were kind of like, I didn't feel too strong in this matchup. When really the matchup, when it was just you and Diana, you pretty much had the matchup under control. It was, as soon as Nunu started getting involved, Jarvan wasn't there, whatever. That's when the matchup started to go badly. But the traditional, or just the isolated 1v1 matchup, you pretty much won it up until 15 minutes. Up until laning phase ended, basically. So I want you to remember that as well. Next time you get into a Diana Annie matchup, that you can be a bit more confident and be a bit more aggressive. Again, this is fine. You guys just want to be grouping and defending turrets. Oh, Leona.
I'm not going to say anything because I missed an R, so I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah. Bad luck.
Sucks.
Yeah.
I thought I had the damage to kill Jinx, but no, I didn't. So the game's over because of that, more or less. I definitely grabbed a beer after that game.
Fair enough.
Not even trying to, yeah. So
yeah. All right. So the big things I have are lane aggression for you. I think we kind of identified a lot of moments where you could have been way more aggressive in that lane and really made the Diana like have to fight for every CS. Like if she's just able to get CS for free in a ranged melee matchup when you have the lead, it's not really like, sure, you did get a little lane lead there. You had like 1 kill up and I think 20 CS, but it could have potentially been 2 or 3 kills up, 40 to 50 CS. If you were just slightly more aggressive and safe aggression. So it's like when you know where Nunu is, you can go hyper aggressive. As long as you win the 1v1, you can be as aggressive as you want because no one else is going to be there. As long as you can, again, Annie's like super like low skill cap in the terms of like you don't need to be good at micro. You can literally just win the trade straight out with your point click stun or your AoE stun. It makes it a lot easier. Warding, I think, is a good one, particularly like minion spawn.
Yeah.
Woodside top raptors or red, and then also if you're red side, just ward his blue buff, for example. Because every jungler pretty much does their first buffs in their first jungle route, and as long as you place that ward pretty much just before minions crash in the mid lane, you're always going to spot them, unless they do like a full clear. So I think that's going to help you with that aggression, that point one, where you can be super aggressive for the first 3 minutes of the game, where Annie outranges with her auto attacks, but also you can just kind of spam your Qs on CS as well as the enemy. Next one, the team fighting. I think your stun indicator, you need to get a little bit better with that. Because it seemed like in a couple of team fights, you were using spells where you thought a stun was coming. Like that when that Nunu ulted, you kind of tibbered. And I wasn't sure if it was like just a reaction or if it was... if you thought you had your stun up, I'm not sure. But it was kind of like a pointless tibbers, if that makes sense. Yeah. So like impact with your spells is kind of super important. And then... So knowing what to do in the team fight, to be honest, none of those team fights were really on in the mid game, but you were forced to do it, so it wasn't really something you could do. But I think in hindsight, when you are playing from behind, if you can try and just tone it back a bit, and instead of all of you dying, if it's just, you know, your 1-5 Leona and your 1-9 Jarvan who die, it's like, sure, that's kind of shitty and I didn't help them out, but it's like, we don't lose that much for that. It's better than me dying who's on a, you know, maybe 150 bounty or, you know, a fresh 350 gold kill. It's just like losing less by just not going into team fights that are kind of doomed. Because if you look at that game, for example, the 5v5 is super hard for you guys. I mean, they've got a Lissandra, Nunu, Diana, Jinx, Pyke. You've got in the context of that game, like a 1-9 Shen, a 1-9 Jarvan. So your front line is very weak. They've got a super strong front line, and they've got like a really good front-to-back comp where Diana and Liz can get in super dirty with you guys, and then just Zhonya's or ult for Lissandra's case. Whereas Jinx can just like be rocketing the whole time. So delaying those kind of fights or those moments in the game can allow you guys to have a chance back in. Because, like, the one chance you guys had in that game was when they misplayed Baron and you guys got those 4 kills. But then there was no real other opportunity to go for anything else. I think CSing, particularly in the early game, is important as well. You just miss a couple, it's not a big deal. And you're averaging, like, 6.2 in the first 10 minutes. But I think that should be at about, like, 7, particularly in a melee range matchup. And that'll come through when you're playing more aggressive as well, I think. But, to be honest, that game, you could only do so much. I think if you extended your early game lead, you might have been able to influence the game more. I think a couple more roams bot lane, maybe a bit earlier. And particularly because you were, let's say, in a couple of examples, you were like a kill and 10 CS ahead, you can actually afford to like sack 10 CS. So you can actually allow Diana to get to your turret if you're doing a roam that's going to be impactful. So I think trying that as well, because you really only roamed once in the first, I think it was 10 minutes of the game. You roamed once top, and it wasn't really on. And then you roamed again at about 12 minutes into the bot lane. It didn't work out, but I think if you can try, every time you hit level 6, try and spam push the wave and look for a roam. If you can start doing that with Annie, because your power spike level 6 is so strong, I think you should really start trying to do that, because it'll allow you to influence other lanes earlier. Because this game was a classic case of like, you couldn't help your team. Like, of course, they weren't very good players, but you were barely given, or you barely gave yourself the opportunity to actually help them out before it was too late. So I think level 6, if you can try and focus, like let's say when you're 50% level 5, start now going, okay, I want this wave to crash as I hit level 6, or I want to try and get this wave pushed in level 6 so I get a really nice roam bot lane. And I'd almost always suggest making bot lane the priority roam lane at level 6, because A, you can get 2 kills, B, you can get your 80 carry ahead, which is kind of the meta at the moment. 80 carries are super strong, and it also gets you ahead. And then C, you can also get Dragon, which is arguably a really strong win condition and something everyone's kind of focusing on in this meta. So I'd suggest like roam, like always roaming when you hit level 6. Either use Tibbers as soon as you hit level 6 in mid lane, like you got to utilize it, or use it to roam. I think is something that's going to help you and allow you to actually influence the map more and get you a bit less frustrated at my mid lane is always roaming, or my team's like losing the game and I'm haven't even, I've won my lane but my 2 other laners have lost. So it'll give you a bit more of an opportunity and a bit more control over that. But I think overall your Annie's pretty strong. I think there's a bit of fundamental stuff that's just going to come through volumes of games. Like, how long have you been playing mid now?
So switch to mid, a few months.
Okay. Yeah, I still think you're getting a little bit used to the role. I think the warding as well is going to help you out a lot. And I just think, yeah, getting a better understanding and being a bit more aggressive in your matchups, you're going to start understanding that Annie does actually win a lot of early game matchups. There's not really too many awkward ones, or ones where you're going to get punished for being aggressive, as long as you know where the enemy jungler is.
Okay.
But that's all. Did you have anything you wanted to ask or talk about that I missed, or something you want to...
Okay, so in the case that the lanes went even, what would the win con have been if it was just an even game rather than a game when you were behind?
Yep. So if the lanes went even, again, it would have been Shen split pushing, and it would have been Jarvan getting an ult, you getting an ult, and then MF Leona kind of following up. So either you engage, Jarvan engage, or Leona engage, and then MF follows up with ult. It would have been grouping as well, because you guys actually have a kind of nice team fight as long as you're even or ahead. But as soon as you're behind, Leona and Jarvan actually turn into like death traps or like suicides. Because Leona's super aggressive, she has to go in to get her damage off, and so does Jarvan. So if you're behind and a Jarvan Leona are engaging like that, it's going to be really hard. I think, again, if you're more even, your roams will also have more impact. So I think you're wanting to try and roam pre-15 minutes way more than what you already are. I think you maybe roam twice in 15 minutes. I think if you get that to like 3 or 4 times, you're going to find it be a lot more effective. But your win cons would have been fighting around dragons, getting that, and then grouping with a 4-1 kind of split push, where Shen's split pushing, forcing Lysandra top lane, and then he TPs in with you, Jarvan, and Leona engaging. That's kind of my take on it.
Makes sense.
Wait, why is this not updated? It's weird. Have you played more than 4 games, Annie?
Yeah, I've played more than 4.
That's so weird.
Yeah, I've definitely played more than 4. Go over rank solo real quick.
That's weird. Well, can you look on your screen and see what your win rate's at?
I kind of don't want to because they're terrible, but I'll do it for you.
Thank you.
So, all right, so I'm going to use Blitz because OPGG is weird. It's not showing all my games. That's weird. Okay. So... All right, so let's go to ranked solo.
I'll see if I can find it on your Blitz.
All right, so Annie, I have 19 ranked games, which isn't that much, but the win rate's pretty bad. It's like 36.8.
Yeah. Okay. Because that game, you didn't look too bad there. And like even some of this match history, that's a bit bad. The 0-5, 6-3. Yeah, I think you're just getting a bit more used to it. He's going to be okay. It's a bit of a shame that these Annie games aren't going as well as they should be. Like, it doesn't look like you're doing anything too majorly wrong.
Yeah, but the problem is, if you're not like in the driver's seat, the car will
Yeah,
crash. So
yeah,
Tolkien feels like, and that's kind of what I've been just trying to figure out. Like, what am I doing wrong to not be in the driver's seat?
yeah, yeah. I think that like extending that lane lead and then influencing other lanes is going to be your key that I want you to start doing. I think that you'll find a bit more success with that, in my opinion, looking at that game, because it doesn't look like, just from your match history, it doesn't really look like there's anything major here. Like, CS per minute's a bit low, deaths are a bit high, but it's like, those aren't really game changing necessarily. But looking at that game review, I think extending your early game lead and using that to influence other lanes a little bit earlier and a little bit more frequently was probably something that you can work on. Because it looked like that lead you developed was like really clinical, clean, and like it looked natural. And I don't know if you usually develop leads like that, you find in your early game. But if you're developing leads like that and these are the score outcomes that you're having, it sounds like you're not able to extend that lead enough. And it comes
Yeah,
probably from a bit just of like pushing and being a bit more aggressive when you have knowledge or information, particularly about where the enemy jungler is.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Um.
But
Yep. What were you gonna say?
oh, nothing.
Okay. Cool. Um. I would suggest, yeah, just practice that early game aggression in lane and then try and always roam level 6. If you're not roaming level 6, try and use your ult to kill the mid laner, because Ignite ult Annie can pretty much one shot anyone. As you saw, you literally killed a 1100 HP Nunu. Pretty
Yeah,
much 100 to
Tibbers.
0'd him. Yeah,
Yeah, Tibbers OP.
yeah, exactly. So I think you need to abuse that more and play to Annie's strengths where her roam's really good. Particularly, let's say if you're going Relentless Hunter, I'd suggest trying Ravenous Hunter and Transcendence, because it gives you a bit more of a mid-game power spike. Try those two, but if you don't start liking them, Relentless Hunter's really good for people who want to roam a lot. So if you do feel like Relentless Hunter's more comfortable, try and use that out of combat movement speed to roam more, I'd suggest. And really getting your influence over the game in the first 15 minutes of the game. Because it's the first 15 minutes of the game is kind of the highest control moment you have in the game.
It's
And
like
then
the
it
tempo
starts,
setter.
yeah. And then it starts becoming, yeah, it sets the tempo, it sets the mood, but it also it's where you have the most influence over your teammates, where you can kind of help them in lane if they're struggling, or really help capitalize on a little lead that you've got. Like, let's say in that game, MF had a little lead there, but you guys were never really able to extend it enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think your fundamentals are super good, dude. I think it's just getting used to mid lane. Do you watch any mid laners at the moment?
I'm not in particular. I'll
Okay.
just pull up like a random Challenger replay because,
Fair enough.
and I'll just look at them because I don't really know anyone who like. Well, I know there's Antibot, but
Yeah.
that's really, I don't know anyone else who like mains her past
Yeah.
low elo.
Fair enough.
So
Yeah, I don't actually know anyone either. But I think the building that early game lead and then extending it out to your team's going to help you a lot. Cool, dude. Did you have anything else?
not yet, but I'll
Awesome.
probably come up with more questions later on the Discord.
Yeah, no, for sure, dude. Yeah, I'd suggest, like, I don't know what time is it for you if it's pretty late, but
It's not late for me because it's a Friday.
I'd suggest jumping into a game and like try and build that lead on Annie and just see how it goes. I think that could be a really good next step, and you're probably a little bit pumped up now to play, which is probably good. So yeah, that's what I'd suggest doing.